Gen Z is flipping the script on higher education. Instead of chasing expensive degrees, they're picking up tools and headed straight into skilled trades. This makes me feel wonderful because this isn't just a trend, it's a significant shift in how young people view work, money, and success. Trade school enrollment is up. Guess who's winning? The kids with the tool belts. Finally, the term tool belt generation isn't just catchy, it reflects a real change. More young people, especially young men, are enrolling in vocational programs seeking hands-on career that offer stability and good pay. This movement is reshaping industries and challenging long-held beliefs about the necessity of a college degree. Who convinced us that a degree was mostly necessary? If you're considering your future path or advising someone who is, it's time to look closely at the skilled trades. They offer real opportunities without the burden of a student debt. I really hope the ladies are watching and listening to this because we have been trying to tell you from a very long time. The cost of college in the United States has become a significant barrier. Tuition fees have skyrocketed, leaving many graduates with substantial debt and uncertain job prospects. Now, in contrast, skilled trades offer a more direct route to employment and financial stability. We're going to take a look at our feature video from PBS NewsHour. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and share. Please like for the algorithm.
As the average cost of college in the United States soars, more young people are being drawn to skilled trades. It's part of a career rethink among Gen Z, who've been called the tool belt generation. Here's special correspondent Christopher Booker.
The task is simple enough. Put on a safety harness, secure the ladder, and climb up.
Identify three items that you see up there.
This exercise is all part of an introduction they get from completing this class, opens the door to any trade they may be interested in.
You've got to start somewhere. And this program right here is the kind of thing that will get your foot in the door. They can build upon this and get into more specific training, plumbing, electrical, HVAC. How did you guys make out at the career fair?
Thomas Stewart, a retired steam fitter and member of New York's Local 21 Plumbers and Steam Fitters, has been an adjunct instructor with Westchester Community College for the past 7 years. He says the number of students walking into his course has increased substantially, and the rise is happening nationwide. According to the National Student Clearinghouse, the number of students in vocational-focused community college has risen by nearly 16% since 2020.
Somehow word must have gotten out that there is a shortage of skilled tradesmen. And I think the younger generation is realizing that they don't necessarily have to go to college to make good money. Skilled tradesmen in this country can make 6 figures.
Through Local 21, Stewart receives health care and retirement benefits. In its effort to keep its rosters filled, Local 21 offers apprenticeship programs to train young people and everything to do with pipes, from plumbing to sprinklers.
And when they're an apprentice, that's where you get to a scenario where you actually will be working and studying.
Earn as you learn. We like to say it like that because you can work your 8-hour shift during the day, and usually it's 2, sometimes 3 nights a week. You'll have to go to school.
When someone enters the apprenticeship program, do they receive benefits as well? Is that
Absolutely. Right from the start.
so? Healthcare,
Yeah,
in the pension.
yeah.
While the stories vary from student to student, some of the young people who come through Stewart's classroom are not coming right from high school.
Right after high school, I went into college at Penn State. I spent about 2 years there. I was studying data science and astrophysics, but eventually I dropped out during the pandemic.
After a bit of time at home, Carson Schrock found an entry-level position as a machinist.
Originally, they had me just doing some odd jobs around the shop, trying to find what my role would be, and eventually I got moved on to this 9-axis CNC machine.
An advanced manufacturing process, computer numeric control, or CNC, allows a machinist to create complex and complicated parts. Schrock spent the last year with Westchester Community College, working to earn a roster of CNC certifications.
So when you were in high school, was pursuit of a trade at all part of the conversation?
Not really, no. It was mostly about like what field of computer programming I would be in. Data science was close to what I wanted to do with the programming and making things, but I wanted to do something with my hands.
It's always great to talk to the individual that is directly impacting because we have not been doing that. Why I say this is that there was a firestorm some weeks ago about less black men attending colleges. And this narrative is like a cycle. Whenever they want to keep black people distracted, they just shit on black men. And this is one of the main reasons. They don't want to be burdened by the debt. The average college tuition is estimated to be about $40,000. Young men have their ears to the ground and they have been watching and observing all around them. Men want to be entrepreneurs. They want to be their own boss. They want to be leaders. Take a look at what is going on all around us. It's mostly women who are being elevated in the high position, especially in corporate. You don't believe me? Take another look from this feature from CBS News. Over 1 year ago, we were discussing this. And for many moons ago, like that teacher said earlier, we have been talking about the shortages for years. But now that it has come to full fruition, the young men are stepping up and I'm just ecstatic. Take a look at this feature.
More and more Gen Zers are saying no to four-year colleges and universities and saying yes to traditional trades like welding and plumbing. A new article in the Wall Street Journal explored the reasons behind Gen Z's move to become the quote-unquote tool belt generation and how they could be the solution to the shortage of skilled workers in the United States. The author of that piece, Wall Street Journal reporter T-Ping Chen, joins us now to talk about it. This is fascinating. We've heard it's not new. There's been spikes when this has become a thing. What is it about this particular point in time that has these young people looking more and more vocational schools and trades? And which are the jobs that you found are the most popular?
Yeah. So first of all, college is expensive. It's been getting more expensive. And for generations, we have had this idea of college for all. That has really been something that, we've pushed on a lot of students to think that you've got to go to college. And if you don't, there's no real alternate path to success. At the same time, we are living in a really uncertain world with the rise of AI, with a tough job market out there for a lot of college grads. I'm seeing a lot of employers do things like drop their college education requirements as we face sort of a skills mismatch in this country.
Take a look at the date right here. CBS News, April 3rd, 2024. And just 2 to 3 weeks ago, they were talking about young black men not entering university. They have fallen off significantly. It's because the young black men are entering vocational schools and colleges where they see a better opportunity for them to start owning their own businesses, as well as being entrepreneurs, as well as starting off life without the burden of a student. But let's continue.
At the same time, we're seeing figures. For example, there was a recent study out by Burning Glass Institute and Stroud Education Foundation, which found actually that among college graduates, half of them are actually working in jobs where bachelor's degrees aren't even needed. And so, not surprisingly, all that is conspiring to create a feeling of skepticism. Do I need to go to four-year college to be successful? Do I want to take on that debt? Is it the only path? Are there alternate paths up there? If you look at some of the figures, at a macro level, we are talking about last year a 16% jump actually in enrollments in vocational focused community colleges.
One of the many lies they've been selling us for generations and for years, you need a college degree in order to get through in life. Absolute rubbish.
And that's the highest. If you look at overall enrollment, it's actually at the highest level since the National Student Clearinghouse started tracking this data in 2018. You asked about what programs are the most popular. If you break it down, you can see, for example, with construction trades, that's one area that has seen a pretty striking jump in that time period since 2018 of around 23%. Likewise, vehicle maintenance and programs in HVAC, vehicle maintenance and repair and install and all that, it's gone up by 7%. So those are some of the more popular areas.
We're both children of immigrants, right? And I think a lot of people who are children of immigrants experience this thing where, your parents are like, you got to be a doctor or a lawyer. It's got to be this. And I remember arguing with my mom and saying, well, maybe I want to college. Maybe I want to try something different. And it just could not. Her mind could not accept that.
It was basically, if you want to be a welder, you can do that after you go to college.
Yeah, because what the schools and colleges did in the past, well, up until recently, was they just had a total promotion marketing juggernaut that will bombard you about dressing and going into corporate. The Wall Street hedge fund managers being that doctor or that lawyer, wearing the suit, prestigious, driving that Bentley or that Rolls Royce, is synonymous with someone who actually made it after completing their masters in such and such and such, or their science degree, or their bachelor's in business administration from one of these top Ivy League universities.
Like basically. But I'm curious now if, the views are changing when people think about the trades, when they think about plumbing, welding, electrical jobs. What are the impressions that people have?
That's a really good question. So 100%, that stigma still exists, I would say. If you think about, we're living in a society where for generations, we have that sense that college is the optimal, right? And anything other than that is less than. If you look at survey data, you can see that the strong majority of Gen Z would be interested in vocational schools offering paid on-the-job training, which is a lot of how you get into the skilled trades. But at the same time, you see around 3/4 of them also saying that there is a stigma associated with going to trade school versus a 4-year path. That said, I would say that that stigma is changing. When you speak to high school counselors across the country, they will tell you that.
Again, mechanics, engineers, they're very typical to our infrastructure and our society. STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, can't go wrong on that. Most of my friends who own businesses, they were in the trades, and they're very, very successful in basically what they're doing now. Some of them own garbage disposal companies, plumbing services, electrical companies. Some of them are mechanics, engineers. Some of them are contracted with the telecommunications companies. And you will see that there's always a service needed elsewhere where a skilled trade is generally in demand. What we have to understand is that Gen Z want to control their own destiny. Why would they enter a university to go compete with the girls for the same jobs when they can create their own? The college environment is not friendly to young men anymore, so they resort to shaming language. I'm sure you've heard women say there aren't enough eligible young men for them to date. This is also one of the reasons. That's because young men are out there building and maintaining the society we now take for granted. The demand for skilled workers is growing. Industries like construction, HVAC, mechanics, and electrical work are experiencing shortages, creating ample job openings for trained individuals. And this demand translates into competitive salaries and job security for those entering the trades. Moreover, the trades offer more than just financial benefits. They provide a sense of accomplishment and a satisfaction of tangible results. For many, working with their hands and seeing the direct impact of their work is deeply rewarding. Let's go back to the first video. The
Principal of White Plains High School in White Plains, New York.
We've been bringing in local tradesmen. We had Local 3 in, we had our sheet metal workers in. We're trying to bring them in so we as adults can learn more about the trades so that we can better inform our kids on what their options are.
Has the school started to offer more by way of what would be historically called vocational technology classes?
Yeah, so we're going to start demolition on our 75 acres, and we're building a career and technical building.
Wow, so you guys are really all in.
So we're excited, yes.
What about the conversation with parents? Has that changed?
Parents are open, but there are times where we have to have tough conversations with those parents and say, you know what, this might not be the path that you thought you would want for your child, but they're going to be successful no matter what they do. We just need to support them in getting there. But I do think that parents' perspective is going to start changing as society changes, right? I think that's important about having these conversations, is we need to demystify the trades.
In 2023, Hall says 11% of White Plains graduates either went into the military or into a trade. Last year, it was 13%.
Your top tier college is over 90 grand a year. Kids are starting to look at that. And society says you have to go to college to be successful. What we're trying to say is that's not always 100% accurate. Having a college degree does help you financially. However, money doesn't equal happiness.
This move towards skilled trades by Gen Z is a refreshing trend. It's a practical response to the economic realities. So by choosing this path, many are finding stable, fulfilling careers without the burden of student debt. It's a movement that's redefining success and reshaping the workforce of the future. Now, besides, those jobs won't be under threat from AI. Well, not just yet, but for the ladies, I'm not so sure. Remember to subscribe and hit that thumbs up button for the algorithm, and I will see you in the next episode.